and joins us now. And first, I'd just like to get your reaction to this letter that we're actually all just going through at this point that Manu was just talking about, specifically asking, it was sent to Secretary Pompeo, they're asking for this information about translators, access to them, and noting that the allegations of records were destroyed, in their words, raise profound national security, counterintelligence, and foreign policy concerns.
Sure, Erica. So between the letters and the 81 or so document requests, it's very clear. The Democrats are not going to dip their toe into the investigation pool. They are diving into the deep end. I mean, they're sparing no expense, sparing no detail here. This is 2 years of pent-up frustration about all the information that the Democrats alleged Republicans slow-walked, that the Republicans, when they controlled the House, did not look into these areas. So Democrats are now aggressive, and they're going to basically stop at nothing to get the information they want.
You mentioned it, that they're aggressive, they're diving in. That's certainly the case when you look at this list. There are 81 different people and entities here. Some of them, though, are also somewhat dramatic. The DOJ, the FBI, the White House at number 65. Do they risk, perhaps, in some instances, going too far on this?
Well, that's always a possibility, right? They have to get the information they need without appearing to look like they're overreaching, and also, frankly, without wasting time, because there is time-sensitive nature to a lot of these issues. So I noticed that too, right? The requests to agencies are going to be hard fought. They're not going to just turn over information from the executive branch just because Congress asks for it. So unfortunately, this is going to work its way into the courts. There are probably going to be subpoenas next, then court battles. So we'll see what eventually kind of comes from that. I think it's the information requests from the individuals that may ultimately be more fruitful, because they're going to be more compelled, more voluntarily willing to cooperate a lot faster than the government agencies will.
What's interesting, too, are the names that are not on this list, notably Ivanka Trump, who, of course, is senior advisor to the president. Her brothers, Donald Jr. and Eric, are both on that list. Her husband is on the list. Ivanka is not. Kellyanne Conway is not. Is there anything that you would read into that?
I mean, it's so hard because the list is otherwise so far-reaching, and there's people like Hope Hicks and Sean Spicer, but then not Kellyanne Conway. So, yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. I'd be really guessing. I think that, the real takeaway, though, is that for the individuals who are named on this list, unfortunately, they have now weeks or possibly months of pulling together information, probably having to retain legal counsel, having to cooperate, or else deciding to fight, which is a tough uphill battle. So, and then it wouldn't surprise me one bit if those names you mentioned that were not on this list show up on other lists coming down the road.
I want to bring back Joseph Moreno now. So when we look at this, as Abby points out in the past, presidents typically try to stay out of this. The president was very clear from the beginning how he felt about the proposed merger, and then ultimately what became Warner Media, as we know, under AT&T. As you look at this, there is this incident that's laid out in the New Yorker about what the president had to say. What's the difference between ordering and asking or suggesting?
So, Erica, Abby hit the nail right on the head. I mean, most presidents avoid this problem by not making these public statements and also not being caught giving directives, whether it's explicit or implicit, to their subordinates, right? So here, if the president had explicitly ordered someone to interfere with the Justice Department prosecution or the civil action to stop the merger, that would have been really, really improper, because we have to keep apart the political from the career individuals over at the Justice Department. So now, if it was more of an implicit, like, I want this to not go through, or I want this to be blocked, and then individuals at the Justice Department felt pressured or felt like they had to do that to make the White House happy, that's also really problematic. And this is exactly why presidents avoid this tension by not weighing into highly charged political cases or cases at all. President Trump is, as usual, his own worst enemy, because his own words are now rightfully being used to scrutinize this decision.
Joseph Moreno, always appreciate your insight. Thank you.
Thanks, Erica. Good to be here.